dawladda intii aan burburneeba dagaalada sokeynay bilowday daduna min sheegdo Soomaali oo oraad weligaanayn dhamarna dad soo deginyi daris aan hasta korni ilma adeer dad iyo in oo una markii hore Soomaali la haysanay walaalhayni macnaha isquracdaan isla qadayani ehelsho madihana weerareen qabiilhan weerareen maalintaas ay ka dhabadanaayto oo beledkii aan ka dhaladay ku roori oo duqdi agagлагay la balaqaysadii alaabtay la qaaday gurigay la gubi waxyaabahaas tan ay ka yaab badanaay macnaha dabaatadii ninka humaaytayna taas haytay halgaasana martay walla ama baan lahayna roogni marka mucjizooyinkaas isku jareen mo rabbaani kullina hadda may ka cabaraan dunuub oo hor an galni madaas baadantii dhabkaninka dhinu ku hor una galni leeyna loo gooyay macnaha xaaladda hudur hadda eedan faylata waqtigii hadda waqtiyaan saniyaan dhow waqtinin ku faylaba ma jira wadankan dayuuro ma koo jirna dayuurada dawladda la taa ama hay'adda la taa marmar koo jireen dayuurad bareefad ee la helay dayuuraha ka adeegdo hayno ilaa hadda intii oo hakanagadan qof oo dhab la ka deersay mas'ala ka dili ma jira oo macnaha amaan humu ku dhiiday male marka alxamdulillah xilligan eedan faylay walba problema ma jiraan eedan faylay xilligan
Hello and welcome to VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Bunganyi. Thank you so much for joining us today. On this episode of Red Carpet, we'll feature a Malawian painter's work illustrating the unbreakable bond between music and culture among Africans. An event by Mashoud Creations celebrating Black History Month, and FESPACO opens in Burkina Faso. Let's begin the show. And let's start the show with some highlights of the latest entertainment news from around the world. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has established a crisis team in response to last year's Academy Awards incident in which actor Will Smith went on stage and slapped comedian Chris Rock. This year, the Oscars ceremony is being held on March the 12th, according to Academy CEO Bill Kramer. Queens New York native Evie Rockwell's debut feature, 1001, took the grand prize for the U.S. dramatic competition at this year's Sundance Film Festival. The film stars Teyana Taylor making her debut as a leading actor. Rockwell's cast Taylor after watching hundreds of tapes for the role of Inez, a young woman who kidnaps her son Terry from the foster system and becomes fiercely dedicated to providing him with a sense of home and identity. That is according to reports. And former film producer Harvey Weinstein was given 16 additional years in prison after a jury convicted him of the rape and sexual assault of an Italian actor and model. Weinstein was earlier sentenced to 23 years in 2020 for a similar conviction in New York. A U.S. judge has handed disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly a 20-year prison term for child pornography and other charges, but he will serve most of it concurrently with the previous sentence. Kelly is already serving a 30-year sentence he received after a Brooklyn jury in a separate federal trial convicted him on racketeering and trafficking charges. R. Kelly's lawyer is appealing both of the singer's federal convictions. The 28th Pan-African Film and Television Festival of Ouagadougou was held recently in the Burkinabe capital. The fight against terrorism was at the center of the speeches presented. We get more from VOA's Yakuba Ouedraogo and Thierry Kware. The 2023 opening choreography of FESPACO by Serge Aimé Coulibaly was inspired by Martin Luther King's famous phrase, "I have a dream." A dream for a better tomorrow for Burkina Faso and for Africa was represented in a creation built around patriotism and the fight against terrorism.
Well, I heard about the terrorist attack on my way when I was kind of entering the plane. But for some reasons, I'm not bothered at all because, you see, these things happen everywhere in the world, and I believe I'm going to go back home safe.
Competing film productions in different categories address the ongoing security crisis. The Malian Prime Minister Choguel Kokala Maiga was present at the opening of FESPACO alongside his Burkinabe counterpart, and he returned to the idea of a federation between Mali and Burkina Faso.
We have discussed a lot on this issue of the Mali-Burkina Federation with other countries, and what I heard today from men of culture is to say to politicians, carry on, follow your people, don't fail, don't hesitate, don't look back, your people are with you.
The competition divided 170 films into 10 categories. 15 films from 13 countries are battling for the Yenega Gold Stallion, the most coveted trophy. The closing is scheduled for March the 4th.
Congratulations. Welcome again.
Malawian visual artist Tapiwa Mlinga is one of the 5 African artists whose work is being highlighted on the cover of notebooks printed by Africa No Filter, a Kenya-based art organization. Mlinga was among the over 100 artists from across Africa who participated in the competition to provide artwork and provided an interpretation for the theme celebrating Africa's creative power. Red Carpet caught up with her in Lilongwe to talk about her work. The painting that won Tapiwa Mlinga a top 5 spot is an illustration depicting the unbreakable bond between music and culture among Africans. The 26-year-old visual artist says that success came as a surprise but has inspired her to aim high.
So I did about the music, because music actually has been part of African culture for like a while. You go to any ceremonies like funerals, weddings, there's always music to it. So I created that piece. I posted about it. People loved it. It is a good sort. I think that was my expensive painting. So when I submitted to it, when I submitted to African No Filter, they actually loved it.
The Africa No Filter is an arts organization with branches in Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria. And each year, the organization comes up with themed competitions on paintings aimed to empower visual artists in Africa with the aim of changing the narratives within and about the continent.
I'm excited in a way that people actually, now they're recognizing my work and my name is out there, and people, when they say it's T, people actually know me. That's exciting for business part. Also, it's scary in a way that now people expect more from me. I don't know how much they want from me and how much I can deliver to them. So now it's really, really scary. But I promise to do my best. Yeah, I hope it works out.
Mlinga's success comes 2 years after she went into arts, a new career she started after working as a social worker. She has been collaborating with several professional local artists, including the country's renowned pencil artist, Henry Buddha.
Yeah, she's a very good artist, very good artist. Like the way she come up with the concepts, like the concepts are very nice, and how she mixes the paint, it's very nice as well. She knows how to mix the paint, how to put it out there.
Mlinga markets her work through several social media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. But her success is not short of challenges, including the rise in prices of painting materials on the market.
Get me a pencil. And another challenge that I have is most people actually here in Malawi, they take art as a white people hobby. So if you post about it, just like, yeah, okay, it's nice. But for them to appreciate it and actually buy or actually keep it, it's really a struggle. I think right now they are coming into place, but then still we have a larger number of people that they shy away from getting involved in art.
But challenges aside, Mlinga is pushing hard to explore international markets.
As an artist, I need to be in the platforms whereas I can go outside the country. Yeah, there's a Mexico art show, like it's a wide art show. There is a Texas art show. I need to be in those spaces. That will be like, that's my goal.
And now to New York City. For decades, Mashoud Creations has been a cultural force in the New York fashion scene, displaying unique designs that blend African heritage with contemporary styles. In celebration of Black History Month, Mashoud opened its doors to highlighting emerging Black creatives, designers, and entrepreneurs. VOA's Kali Abdu has more.
Fashion designer Moshood Afariogun, a Nigerian immigrant from Lagos, opened his first store in Fort Greene in 1994. Over the course of 27 years, the name Moshood has become synonymous with Brooklyn streetwear. At his latest store, an event curated by multidisciplinary artist Folu Ogunyeye is a tribute to Black creativity.
So right now we are at Moshood Official, which is a Nigerian designer he's sat over there. I don't know if you can see him from here, but he is a legendary designer whose designs have been worn by so many superstars. I can just list off some names. Stevie Wonder, Erykah Badu, Lawrence Fishburne. Like, we actually have them all along the walls of the store here. You can see the history of this place, and the whole point of this is because this is the final weekend of Black History Month. I wanted to organize a demonstration of what Black history really means.
Vendors from all over are presenting their products, from clothing and jewelry to handmade ceramics and art.
I have a clothesline called Triple G's, and that stands for God gets the glory. God gets the glory. It's more for men to feel the royalty, or women to feel when they put on the clothes, they feel like royalty, remind them back in our ancestor days of we was being kings and queens.
Among the many talented artists featured at the event was Uzo Njoku, a Nigerian American whose colorful work was on display.
So she creates these beautiful prints like this that you can frame and put in your room. She also goes out of her way and puts all her beautiful paintings onto wearable tote bags, like little phone wallets like these. And I think just one of the more unique things that she does is really just, she'll take a piece of clothing or a handkerchief that you see in her art, and she actually makes it come true and an actual product that people can wear.
Eliza, an attendant at the event, appreciated Uzo Njoku's work.
So I started looking at her work online and just loved it, so I got the same bag. I've gotten so many compliments on it and knew that she'd also be doing a pop-up here and wanted to come see the artists, local artists who were, and like designers who were showing.
Attendees had the opportunity to experience products from an alkaline chef and also a health and wellness resources center.
We are a resource center that allows people to now come in and not only learn the matters of health and wellness, but actually experience in the products and samples that's here for the community to heal.
I'm an alkaline vegan chef, so I educate about smoothies, liquid foods. If you see here, we have sea moss, a lot of liquid foods, soursop, green life tonic. It's all about our liquid foods. Our liquid food is as important as our solid. So I educate about that as well. And also I sell sound vibration music. You know, when we talk about health, we talk about the mind, body, and spirit. From the sound to what we eat to what we do, our liberty. So this event alone is a wellness because we have everybody tapping into the abundance that surrounds us, and it's all about the abundance that's within us and all around us.
Kali Abdu, VOA News, Brooklyn, New York.
And now to sports news. On car-free days, Rwandan officials are converting roads in the capital Kigali into mini courts after introducing street tennis to the country.
On a road that might usually be bustling with traffic, Eric Muhowenimana is playing tennis. More specifically, street tennis, a game introduced in Rwanda last year. On car-free days, local authorities in the capital Kigali turn thoroughfares into mini courts.
At the beginning, it was very complicated to us because we didn't know much about rules of playing. But we caught up now, and now we're familiar with it.
The introduction of the sport was inspired by a partnership with the government of Barbados, following a visit to the East African country in November. Rwandan sports officials say the game is very affordable and can be played by anyone, provided they have the space. Smaller courts mean players need quick reflexes. Muhowenimana says it can get tiring, but that it's easy to ask a teammate to take over. Plus, he says, it's great fun.
Thank you so much for watching VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vonganye. For more entertainment news, be sure to check us out at PlusTvAfrica.com. We are also on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Also, don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. Until next time, goodbye, everyone. Mozambican saxophonist Moreira Chongwisa says that Africa should protect its creative economy by creating policies that protect its content creators from exploitation. Moreira, who recently released his 8th studio album, Sounds of Peace, was in the US as one of the cultural representatives of his country during the Africa Leaders Summit. He spoke to me about the need to create connections between Lusophone Africa and the rest of the continent. Let's take a look.
Africa is a continent of survival, okay? And we've always survived. Why? Because we've managed to invent, create, and recreate sometimes things that we don't have. I would probably speak about involvement of policies that would facilitate and protect our creativity. That's the biggest challenge.
Moreira wears many hats, from educator to social entrepreneur. He's been called one of the most innovative jazz artists from Africa. On his 8th studio album, Sounds of Peace, Moreira draws inspiration from the rich and vibrant cultural heritage of his homeland, Mozambique, and he hopes to pass that on to the next generation.
Mozambique is a young country, as you know, 47 years of existence, and I belong to a generation that somehow is benefiting from the other generation, like artists like Malangatana, painter, like bands like Yofuro, Gorowane, you understand, and many others, okay, like sculptor like Shisano, like photographer like Rangel. So today we are benefiting because also we had access to education. That's why I call myself a young African and privileged, because I had access to education. And this is one of my main focus, through my foundation and the projects I do, is that we have to try and find a way of involve these young kids, because we have a young population, but maybe not trying to copy what they do in America or not trying to copy what they do in Japan. Probably looking at where we at and try to create a model that fits the necessity and the circumstances of our communities.
He credits his country for providing him with the right environment to pursue his creative endeavors.
I've studied music from the age of 7 as an extracurricular activity in the beautiful city of Maputo at what we call Escola Nacional de Música. Escola Nacional de Música is National School of Music. The National School of Music was probably one of 6 or 7 institutions that our government at the time created after our independence in 1975. Okay, so just to say that my government in my country at the time understood the importance and the relevance of culture. They've created the National School of Music, they've created the National School of Dance, they've created Companhia Nacional de Canto e Dança, which is a national dance company. They've created art schools. So there was this interest.
Moreira says that for his new album, he engaged all aspects of Mozambique's creative community and wants to use it as a vehicle to bring in more young people into the global conversation about African jazz.
This is a copy of my new album. It's called Sounds of Peace. And again, we try to respect and integrate all the aspects of creative industry. Okay, to do this cover someone designed, Osorio Chembeni designed. Yeah, you have a piece of art of one of the most celebrated artists and sculptors of Mozambique called Gonçalo Mabunda. So we have amazing photography from Mauro Vonda, Dilson Tomás, and Mariana da Silva, just to say beside the artists who participate here. So the value chain of the creative industry, what we were talking yesterday, it's here. But how do we transfer this to a young boy in Gurue, a young boy who's not in an urban area? So this is what I'm trying to say. So
to connect those dots.
Do we need to connect those dots based on the reality and based on the circumstance and context of where these young kids are? Okay, we cannot create Beethovens if we don't have a grand piano, but we can prepare him to play a grand piano and beat Beethoven. Do you get what I'm trying to say? This is my vision with regards to creative industries.
Hollywood actor and comedian Michael Blackson is one of the few African comedians to break into Hollywood. Known for his distinctive accent and his comedic style, which often involves blending African and Western cultural references, Blackson has gained a large following on social media and has performed at various venues around the world. In the second part of my exclusive interview with him, Blackson talks about the factors driving global interest in African culture. Let's take a look. What do you make of this interest in African culture in the last couple of years? What do you think is driving it?
I think everybody get a time. I think it's just our time as Africans.
It's our time.
It's our time.
I love
baby.
it.
Our time to shine.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I came here in the late '80s, and it wasn't about, it was like doing the Elder Barge and I'll Be Sure and Michael Jackson. A dark-skinned complexion men, we would look down upon it.
You were
made
the butt
fun
of the
us.
joke.
We're the butt
Yes,
of the joke.
yeah.
Like the thing about it, being raised in Africa, whether it's Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, we never saw complexion. We never did.
Yeah.
We all thought it was just all the same.
Right.
I did not know I was dark skinned till I came to America. I didn't know I was dark skinned. I never heard of that.
Right.
Because we never looked at complexion. I came to America, I'm hanging out with some kids. They said, "You black?" I said, "Of course, we're all black." He said, "Oh no, you black as hell." I said,
You
"Well,
black.
I said, "How black am I?" He said, "You look like under the bed." That's dark. He said, "I look like I have no bright ideas." He said, "The difference between me and midnight is 11:59. He said, "When God He said, "When God said, let there be light, I was out of town." He said, "I look like I smoked cigarette backwards." He told me I have to wear white gloves before I eat chocolate so I don't bite my fingers. He told me if Black lives matter, mines matter the most. I'm done with you guys. I had no idea so, you know, and now, guess what? Everybody wants to be black. Everybody wants to find their identity.
Right.
Because it's our time.
It's our time,
guys.
yes.
You know, everybody get the time. Right now is our time.
This is our time.
And
we're here, we're shining.
We're shining.
Michael Blackson, man. Really proud of you, man.
Appreciate you,
proud
man.
of you. I remember when I first moved here, you're one of the comedians. I mean, I love stand-up comedy. It was not really part of our culture.
Right.
But I used to look at you and hear your voice, and I would connect easily with your material. Not necessarily the material, but just the voice and the speech. And the fact that you maintain that authenticity up to 20 years and you're able to leverage it to this type of success, man. Kudos to you, and whatever they gave you in Nigeria in those 3 seminal years, I think.
Shout out to Nigeria. Shout out to the Igbos in Nigeria.
Now, before I let you go, I want to ask you, what is in the works for you? Like, are you any sitcoms, any specials that you're working on?
The thing with television, you know, you always advise don't talk about it
until it happens,
until it be released. You know what I mean? So I can't even talk about any television show right now. But I am in the verge of putting out a special. I'm going to work on my special this year. I'm going to work on my 2 personal movies this year. Besides that, I'm touring. You know, my personal mission for this year also to start the school in Liberia. I'm going to definitely do that this year. I'm going to start
this year already, 2023.
This year, I'm going to start it. You know.
So you're going to be busy. You're always busy. You're always working on something. So
but you know, like I told you, this is how the plan that God had for me. You know, I'm just not. You know, I realized the other day, like, you know, God picks people to do certain things. I think I'm specially picked, and I can't stop.
Absolutely.
I have to keep going, you know.
Malawian visual artist Tapiwa Mlinga is one of the 5 African artists whose work is being highlighted on the cover of notebooks printed by Africa No Filter, a Kenya-based art organization. Mlinga was among the over 100 artists from across Africa who participated in the competition to provide artwork and provided an interpretation for the theme celebrating Africa's creative power. Red Carpet caught up with her in Lilongwe to talk about her work. The painting that won Tapiwa Mlinga a top 5 spot is an illustration depicting the unbreakable bond between music and culture among Africans. The 26-year-old visual artist says that success came as a surprise but has inspired her to aim high.
So I did about the music, because music actually has been part of African culture for like a while. You go to any ceremonies like funerals, weddings, there's always music to it. So I created that piece. I posted about it. People loved it. It is a good sword. I think that was my expensive painting. So when I submitted to it, to African No Filter, they actually loved it.
The Africa No Filter is an arts organization with branches in Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria. And each year, the organization comes up with themed competitions on paintings aimed to empower visual artists in Africa with the aim of changing the narratives within and about the continent.
I'm excited in a way that people actually now they're recognizing my work and my name is out there, and people, when they say it's T, people actually know me. That's exciting for business part. Also, it's scary in a way that now people expect more from me. I don't know how much they want from me and how much I can deliver to them. So now it's really, really scary. But I promise to do my best. Yeah, I hope it works out.
Mlinga's success comes 2 years after she went into arts, a new career she started after working as a social worker. She has been collaborating with several professional local artists, including the country's renowned pencil artist, Henry Buddha.
Yeah, she's a very good artist. Like the way she come up with the concepts. Like the concepts are very nice. And how she mixes the paint. It's very nice as well. She knows how to mix the paint, how to put it out there.
Mlinga markets her work through several social media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. But her success is not short of challenges, including the rise in prices of painting materials on the market.
Get me a pencil. And another challenge that I have is most people actually here in Malawi, they take art as a white people hobby. So if you post about it, they're just like, yeah, okay, it's nice. But for them to appreciate it and actually buy or actually keep it, it's really a struggle. I think right now they are coming into place, but then still we have a larger number of people that they shy away from getting involved in art.
But challenges aside, Mlenga is pushing hard to explore international markets.
As an artist, I need to be in the platforms whereas I can go outside the country. Yeah, there's a Mexico art show, like it's a wide art show. There is a Texas art show. I need to be in those spaces. That'll be like, that's my goal.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Governor Kabir Yusuf rejects appeal court's explanation of typo error in certified true copy as Yoruba community urges others to intervene in Kano political unrest. I am Bola Oba, and this is Plus Politics. The Kano state government has rejected the appeal court's explanation that the error in the certified true copy CTC of its judgment on the state's governorship election was a typographical faux pas. The court initially declared APC's Nasiru Gawuna as the winner, but the certified true copy CTC of the judgment surfaced on Wednesday, indicating that the court had affirmed Yusuf's victory, contrary to the verdict it had earlier given on Friday, and indeed, parts of that same verdict indicated that it affirmed its position earlier given on Friday. Haruna Dederi, the Kano State Commissioner for Justice, criticized the court's explanation. Meanwhile, Yoruba community members in Kano State have urged all national Yoruba leaders and intellectuals to engage with President Bola Tinubu on a political solution to the state's political impasse. Taufik Olaosebikan, the group's Secretary General, made the request during a press conference in Kano. He called on all Yoruba Obas and leaders of thought to wade into the Kano situation without further delay by engaging President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a possible political settlement of the Kano logjam. He noted that the Yoruba community is worried that the unfolding political situation will have adverse effects on the community in the state. Take a listen.
It is clear to all that the NNPP won the state. We are very worried that the unfolding political situation have adverse effect on us, the Yorubas in Kano. Kano is a very volatile state politically, and this is the reason why all men and women of goodwill should be concerned about the situation in Kano and rally around towards a collective initiative to save the state from any calamity which will affect us and our livelihood. In this regard, we are using this platform to call on all Yoruba Obas and leaders of thought to wade into the Kano situation without further delay by engaging President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a possible political settlement of the Kano logjam. It is clear
this issue is an Executive Director, Center for Awareness on Justice and Accountability, Kaja, Kabiru Saidu Dakata, and the lawyer Abdul Karim Mode, are both based in Kano. Gentlemen, welcome to Plus Politics.
Thank you very much for having us.
Let me start with you, Kabiru. I wonder what the supplication of the Yoruba group would amount to, given the fact that this is a cause that is already on the machinery of the judicial system. Would you want to help us here? How would you respond to that?
I think we need to appreciate the fact that there are also key stakeholders, and they have every right to contribute to anything that will ensure justice to, anybody involved in the matter. And they did what they did because they believe if the right thing is not done, it will affect, everybody, including their members in the state. So what they did is not in any way against the fact that the issue is still passing through a judicial process. But they know that if justice is not done, definitely most innocent people are going to be affected. So if I understand their message, this is exactly the direction of their message. And I think they did the right thing as key stakeholders.
Abdul Karim, anybody who is familiar with the history of Kano knows that for almost 300 years now, be it succession to the emirship or indeed the governorship of Kano, partisanship can be very, very volatile and violent in Kano. To anybody who is looking at it from outside the realm of the law, maybe this shout is necessary. I know you are a lawyer, you may want to help us from the two sides, the legal view of it and the appeal of the Yoruba group. We may have to go back to Kabir whilst Abdul Karim is trying to tidy the workings of his device. Kabir, how would you respond to the fact that there is a history of rabid and violent partisanship in Kano, even predating the modern system of government that produces governor, even in the area of the emirship? This volatility, this situation has to be well managed, I guess. How would you respond to that?
You are right to say that that history is there, and that will not be unconnected with the, orientation of the Kano people. Kano people are civilized. Kano people know their rights. Kano people can go a different direction from, the direction even other parts of the country can take. So that history you're talking about is because of these factors I mentioned. So in Kano, we speak, with one voice. So anything that will come to, jeopardize does that effort, the average Kano person will not take it lightly. So that history is still intact, and that Kano person you used to know has not changed. You know, people can change, but the orientation is still there with the people of Kano State. They don't, you know, take enforcement. You cannot come and impose something on them. You can't come and impose something on them. The Kano people know their rights. They know their economic rights. They know their social rights. And also they know their political rights. So if they express their, you know, interest, and if you attempt to, you know, tamper with that arrangement, so they will not take it lightly. And this is exactly what happened, or what is trying to happen in Kano State. This is a person that contested an election in 2019. This man won his election in 2019. He defeated the then incumbent governor of the state. But it was manipulated, you know, to introduce something strange at that time. That is the inconclusion of the election. The election was declared inconclusive, and on the day of the rerun, thugs were brought into Kano, and they intimidated voters, and at the end, the then governor was declared winner of the election. The man went to court in 2019.
We will get back to you, Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim will get back to you.
When he went to court in 2019, he passed through the 3 stages of the tribunal, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. He did not get what he expected to get. He did not do anything. He waited for another 4 years. In 2023, he
okay, Kabir, I'll get back to you.
Hello.
Let me speak to Abdul Karim now. Abdul Karim, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Okay. You are a lawyer.
Yes.
And would you want to summarily take us through how far we have, what it has taken to bring us to this point of very controversial circumstance? You want to give us a summary of it?
Well, you know, at the initial stage, there was a petition against His Excellency Abba Kabir Yusuf. The All Progressive Congress, without its candidate, challenged the victory of His Excellency in Kano, so that is the election 2023. They went to court. They challenged about 83 polling units where they said malpractices and other corrupt practices occurred in Kano State. In that circumstances, during the trials, they were only able to bring 32 witnesses in court. 30 witnesses are the witnesses that have spoken directly from the polling units, trying to confirm or voting and so on and so forth. 2 witnesses, that is the one, that is the total number, the total PBC collected in those 30 polling units. They called agents from those respective polling units was just 22,000, What is the difference between His Excellency Abba Kabir Yusuf and all progressive candidates or its candidates was 128,000 plus. That is assuming without conceding that those witnesses has proved those allegations contained in the petition based on those polling units. They have not breached, or they have not been able to what? To bridge the gap that existed between Abba Kabir Yusuf, APC, and its candidates, which is 128,000 as against 22,000. The tribunal, in its own judgment, in its own judgment, when it was delivering the judgment, they said now that they relied on the evidence of a subpoena witnesses, who happens to be an expert witnesses, that 165,616,000 votes should be deducted from the votes of His Excellency Abba Kabir Yusuf. It is rosy and important to note that in none of the pleadings of the petitioners where they pleaded those votes they alleged to have been illegal, they have not equally pleaded the various polling units where those invalid votes was discovered. They have not equally pleaded where those the votes where those illegal ballots was equally discovered.
Barrister,
yes,
we can't retry the case on a brief TV show like this. At this point, we know that the Court of First Instance, the tribunal, ruled in favor of the petitioner. We know that at the official reading of the judgment of the appeal at the Court of Appeal, the Court of Second Instance similarly ruled in favor of the defendant, because the appeal from the first instance was from the original defendant. Now, the only thing that is stoking this controversy now is the fact that the certified true copy of the judgment has duplicitous passages or paragraphs. On the one instance, 2 paragraphs on a particular page 69, 2 paragraphs speak to the fact that the governor's position is intact. 3 paragraphs speak to the pronouncement that the governor has lost his appeal. So in cases like this, what should be the recourse of the parties? Okay, we go on a short break now, and when we're back, we take it on from where we've left it.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on PlusTvAfrica, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Welcome back. To be honest with you, I've been in broadcasting for a number of years. It's been a while I've seen a scammer or hijacker trying to wrestle the system from the engineers. But we're back. Kabir, are you there?
I'm here.
Kabir, we are in a situation now in Kano that is a bit tense. and we really want all residents of Kano to be a bit sober, careful, and know that violence ultimately could be very costly. How would you respond to that?
You're very right to say that the situation in Kano is tense, but I would have wanted you to say what caused the situation. And I know you know the answer. Everybody knows the answer. You see, justice must not only be done, but it must also be seen to be done. And in a situation where injustice, you are bound to see a situation like the one you are seeing in Kano. You are talking of more than million voters that voted for a person and their family members, and also people who did not even vote for him, but they know the truth of what happened, and they are asking for justice for the person. So it's not about the situation of Kano at the moment. It's about what caused the situation and who has the solution to the situation. You understand? In 2019, like I said earlier, Abba Kabir Yusuf contested an election. The people of Kano State gave him more than 1 million votes. He defeated the then governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. But the election was declared as inconclusive. On the day of the election,
Kabir, we have to be very careful. Yeah. The last elections, that's the 2019 elections, was contested and was litigated to the Supreme Court, and a winner was declared. We cannot be recontesting an election that has been settled, indeed, that the tenure had elapsed. Let me go to Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim, you lawyers and the judiciary have put us in this mess now. So how do we get out of the mess? Especially given the fact that we don't want to toy, we don't want to play around with the emotions and the mood of the Kano citizenry. These are people who don't take things lying down like that. How do we resolve this? Abdul Karim? Abdul Karim, can you hear me? Oh, the gremlins are out today, really out. Okay, Kabir, okay, you want to respond?
I wanted to conclude a thought, trying to set a background of what happened in 2019. But let me talk of what happened in 2023 and what gave birth to the current situation. The man won his election, you know, and the defeated candidate, the candidate of the APC, came out to congratulate him and said he is not going to contest that victory. You understand? His party went to court. And the first judgment of the tribunal was delivered in favor of the APC. But for the people of the states, that judgment has a sentiment in it, because in the judgment, the name of the candidate of APC, Nasir Yusuf Gawuna, was mentioned as the petitioner in that case, and he was not a petitioner. Abba Kabir Yusuf and his party filed an appeal to the Court of Appeal. At the Court of Appeal, you understand, the judgment was delivered also in favor of the APC. But for every lawyer, thank God we are having a lawyer in this conversation. For every reasonable lawyer, after a judgment, if you ask him, the next thing he will tell you is, let us wait and see the content of the judgment, the written judgment, because it is what you will use, as a guide to head to the next court if you are not satisfied with the judgment. But God in his mercy, God in his wisdom, in that documented written judgment, the victory was given to the candidate of NNPP, Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf. So the people of the state now had their, hope revived, because they were not happy with the judgment delivered at the Court of Appeal. So what the situation is telling the world is the people of Kano State are saying, we are not going to allow anybody to take away our mandate. We are not going to allow anybody to take our mandate. And what we hear from them, they said they are ready for anything.
Abdul Karim, you need to unmute your device. Kabir, the point is that, Abdul Karim, can you hear me? Now the case has been appealed and is going to the Supreme Court. And the lawyer to the governor, Alani Kwekun, I read somewhere today where he was saying that the so-called amendment that the registrar of the Court of Appeal purportedly mouthed, that amendment will not stand in law because the jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal has expired, and that they will go to the Supreme Court with that CTC. What would that amount to, Abdul Karim? You are a lawyer. Would that not be very funny at the level of the Supreme Court?
As I told you, the jurisdiction of the tribunal has already been ousted, because 60 days within which to entertain and deliver the judgment has already expired. By whatever means, the Court of Appeal has no any power whatsoever to make, even if it is a clerical error. And in these circumstances, the judgment sought to be edited or sought to be corrected is not even clerical error. It is trying to amend an order, a final order of the court. Because anything touched in that order is like it is completely giving a different meaning to the order granted by the Court of Appeal itself. So I believe, based on Section 285 of the Constitution, the Court of Appeal has no power whatsoever to make any amendment whatsoever, because it has become punctus officio. It is only the Supreme Court now that has jurisdiction to make such amendment or otherwise. And even before the Supreme Court, we really have to make a serious argument. But
the confusing situation now, Abdul Karim, is that when this CTC gets to the Supreme Court, the CTC itself is going to lead to a fundamental confusion at the level of the Supreme Court, because this is a document that is speaking two inconsistent languages at the same time. How would the Supreme Court deal with this? This is sad, but it's funny.
This is to even show to an ordinary common man that this judgment, the judgment of the Court of Appeal, especially in respect of the order granted in favor of the respondent, is faulty completely. It is faulty. It cannot stand. There is no any other law that supports the judgment of the Court of Appeal in relation to the order granted in favor of FEC. It is too glaring. It is too glaring. There is no basis. The decision is faulty. And we are challenging part of that decision where it says APC is now declared the winner of the election.
But Abdul Karim, I'm not a lawyer, you are the lawyer here, but from the journalistic end of the divide, one of the reasonings two main reasons of the Court of Appeal, or the reason why the Court of Appeal claimed in the reading of the judgment before the CTC came out that they were affirming the decision of the tribunal was because, one, that the governor, as at the time he was nominated as the candidate of his party, was not a bona fide member of the NNPP. That's number one. Number two is the second one that you tried to explain away. That's the invalidation of more than 160-something not properly registered ballots. Now, the situation is such that the Court of Appeal, however, has given a very controversial CTC, and the two parties are claiming victory. When they get to the Supreme Court now, how would the Supreme Court handle this? You are a lawyer, help us.
Well, we already have grounds of appeal. You understand? We already have grounds of appeal, which the party, that is NNPP, lodged an appeal before the Court of Appeal, challenging part of the decision of the Court of Appeal. If that succeeded, automatically the judgment of the Court of Appeal, in respect of the version we appeal against, it will be set aside. The two versions relied often when they were reading the judgment. Everybody knows that Section 177 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it only forbids the issue of independent candidature, as it has been decided in plethora of Supreme Court cases. Peter Obi against Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar against Bola Tinubu, recently decided by the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal itself. So by this judgment cannot stand.
Hello, barrister.
The Court of Appeal is appropriating and reprobating. In some other cases, they said it is pre-election matter. Now it is only in this case of Kano that they say it is a secondary election issue, which is not at all. It is not at all. Then the invalidation of those invalid votes, they relied on Section 71 of the Electoral Act. That section talks about the statement of result, not ballot papers. Not ballot papers. The relevant section under Electoral Act is Section 63, sub 2.
Okay, Abdul Karim, I know you are a lawyer. You can go on and on this, but unfortunately, hello, Abdul Karim. We really have to wrap it up at this juncture. I am very, very grateful for the two of you, Abdul Karim and Kabir. You have been wonderful contributors. One just prays that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will let the peace hold in Kano, that we will not have incidents of violence, lives will not be lost, and the peace of Kano will be the peace of Nigeria. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
We really appreciate you. Today's throwback. Oja Akpomu, the 400 years plus Yoruba market, which is a totemic cultural icon. The historically significant Akpomu market holds a revered place in the cultural and economic heritage of the Yoruba people. Situated in present-day Osun State, southwest Nigeria, this thriving market has been a vital center for trade and commerce for more than 4 centuries, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultural traditions within the expansive Yoruba civilization, which sprawls over parts of today's Nigeria, Benin Republic, Togo, and Ghana. Steeped in history and tradition, The Akpomu market remains a vibrant symbol of the enduring legacy of Yoruba commerce and cultural longevity. The roots of the Akpomu market can be traced back to ancient times, when it emerged as a pivotal meeting point for traders from diverse Yoruba communities and beyond. As one of the oldest markets in the sub-region, Akpomu became a crucial hub for the trade of agricultural produce, textiles, livestock, crafts, and sadly so, slaves at some point by Yoruba traders, before the legendary Alaafin Abiodun decreed that no bona fide Yoruba soul must be sold to slavery anymore. Folklore has it that it was the defense of the anti-slavery edict of Alaafin Abiodun by the warrior clan Owus, which got the slave trading profiting Ijebus and the Oyo despising Ifes to conspire and wage war against Orile Owu, the aboriginal homestead of the Owus, and led to their eventual dispersal across Yoruba land, with most Yoruba settlements having little Owu enclaves and the sizable rump in Abeokuta after an initial pre-formation of Ibadan habitation of that geographical space. Beyond its economic importance, the Akpomu market has played a pivotal role in preserving and sharing Yoruba cultural traditions. The bustling marketplace became a melting pot of diverse cultures, languages, and customs as traders from different Yoruba communities and neighboring regions converged to engage in commercial activities and cultural exchanges. The exchange of goods was accompanied by the sharing of traditional knowledge, folklore, and oral histories, creating a rich tapestry of cultural interaction and mutual enrichment. In addition to its economic and cultural significance, the Akpomu market also functioned as a vital social and political arena within Yoruba society, serving as a focal point for community interaction. The market was a space where people from different walks of life could come together, engage in lively discussions, and form social connections. It also served as a platform for the dissemination of news, information, and edicts from rulers, thus becoming an integral part of the social and political fabric of Yoruba communities. Moreover, the Akpomu market continues to stand as a living tribute to the resilience and adaptability of Yoruba economic and cultural practices, despite the challenges posed by changing times and modernization. The market remains a dynamic center of trade and cultural exchange, embodying the enduring spirit of the Yoruba people's economic and cultural tradition. Iloya Onibode Akpomu, as they usually say in Yoruba, about time I left. I am Bola Oba. Have a good day.
My name is Yetunde Adefolahan Odejayi. The fourth in line from my late parents, Reverend Jacob Adeshoga and Grace Folorunsho Badejo, of blessed memory, from Ijebu-Igbo. I was born and grew up in Ilesha, the old western region, now Osun State. Exciting days with great reminiscences. First, I am Yetunde because I was born shortly after my late father lost his mother. So, all respects for my father's mother were automatically transferred to me, as it was believed she was the one who came back. I remember I was so pampered by the late Mr. Oke, my teacher in primary 1 at Imesile, to the extent that my mother resisted and insisted I must repeat that class. Those were days when parents were less sentimental in ensuring their children had sound academic footing. Good old days. I think of our unblemished dedication to service, our disciplined lifestyle of waking up at 5 a.m. for morning prayers, engaging in household chores, arriving school early, eat lunch at 3 p.m., serve siesta for 1 hour, read till 7 p.m., and prepare for dinner by 8 p.m. Submit your assignments and essays for my father's scrutiny. Prayer time 9 p.m., bedtime 10 p.m. That was the routine. Good old days. We are who we are today through God's grace and because of those strict upbringing and high moral values impacted on us, not only by our parents, but from schools, places of worship, recreation, and even from our immediate community. I recall when Bami would be passing by and just order any recalcitrant child who had frustrated his parents to start living with us. At some point, we were over 23, living on a meager salaries of 2 teachers, Bami and Mami. Now, I stop to wonder, can we relive those old times again? Will our children believe us when we tell them our salaries at some point were not more than 36 naira a month as a teacher in a modern school in Ijebu? The great concern now is to wish for a brighter future for the upcoming ones and join in this drive. Our children must not also refer to this era in future as good old days. We can change the narrative. Our children deserve a brighter and better tomorrow, not the good old days. I join Shemore in this collective drive towards a greater tomorrow. Thank you.
This is how these two on-air personalities resume their dream career jobs together every day. Collins and Andrea Teke were renowned individual broadcasters before they fell in love and got married. Not a few people think that relationships are hard enough to deal with on their own, and when you throw working together into the mix, it can get even trickier. One interesting thing about the Tekes is how seamless the couple anchors the same show together, a first of its kind in Nigerian radio.
Lagos, Nigeria, we want to know how you're doing this morning. What is going on around your area? We want you to tell us and also scream, "What's up, Lagos?" Yes! Yes! Chest alive!
They didn't always work together. Collins used to run a production studio, and it was at work that he met Andrea.
I needed a female voice. The client demanded for a specific female voice that sounded a certain way. And explained it to one of my, staff or team members at the time. And he said, "No, I know this lady. This lady is, she has a great voice. She's fantastic. She's beautiful." So, the boss, you even like the babe self, that kind of thing. And I said, "Okay, let's hear." Before you know it, there was a phone call. Before you know it, and then, bam, it was timely. She came into the studio working. She just stole the presence of the room, And I couldn't do anything. I didn't have anything in mind because at the time I was in another relationship.
What happens at home? Does Andrea take up the role of a traditional African wife and mom?
I'm blessed to have him. I'm not sure that I'll be able to meet up. I'm not sure that I would be able to meet up if he has not been the way he has been, that is being super supportive. I wake up in the morning and the first thing is to take care of my baby because we have a son together. The first thing is to take care of him, have his bath, prepare his meal, cook and, clean, have my own bath prepared, and then we come to work. But the good thing is he takes up the responsibility of bathing this boy in the morning. So he takes that off my duty, so to speak. Sometimes I do it while he cleans or dresses him up, and then I face the kitchen. So we share that responsibility. It's more like sharing the responsibility at home and also sharing the responsibility at work. So it makes it easy for me.
It's a situation of we are going to work together. We have to leave at the same time. We'll meet at the same time. Get on time. And then do our show. We have to prep afterwards, do everything together. So I can't go back home and start saying, where's my food? Where's my food from where? You understand? So we plan it together. And I think that pushed me to also, rise to the occasion, which is something I would encourage, especially couples, whether or not you're working together, to rise to the occasion when your woman needs it the most.
Thank you. Spending time together may be good for their relationship, but this couple also faces challenges, especially in maintaining their individual identities.
People will call on the show and say, "Hey, Collins, tell your wife," and the wife is right there. They call and they greet him first before they greet me. Some don't even greet me. Some don't even regard that I am on the show with him. So it dealt with me when we started initially, dealt with me mentally, dealt with me emotionally, because it felt like I am there, but still not there. Because, it took a while for people to recognize my presence, because at the end of the day, you are his wife. You are supposed to calm down when he's talking. You're supposed to be quiet when he's talking. And, this is my job. I was a broadcaster before I got married to him. And so it is my job first. And that's what people took a while to embrace. It's just something I'm dealing with, and I think that people would gradually get used to it. There are no days that we don't have times where we quarrel, times where he's on a different cloud, I'm on a different cloud, and we have to come on the radio and talk and make Lagos happy.
And do it. Kick a show.
And make Lagos happy. So it's actually challenging where you have to not let the world know that you're dealing with something and come on the air and be beautiful and be excited. We sometimes forget that we're having any issue, or there's a quarrel, or there's a misunderstanding, or there's one problem to deal with right on the show. And after the show, we're out, we're giving ourselves, that was a great show.
I don't know, right? But we're fighting. People tend to just make what they make out of the situation. So whatever you present is what you get. So before you know it, your individual brand starts sinking in the joint brand.
Sharing an office space requires this couple having as little time away from each other as possible, as nerves may become frayed.
We have to create the fun.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Make it a fun-filled way. That's what we do.
That's what I hear. We create our fun.
Go somewhere
when we're
alone.
Tensed, right, with everything happening, we call it decluttering. We probably go to the beach side, nobody with us, just the both of us, no phones, nothing. And we are sitting, discussing what is going on in our lives as individuals and also as a couple. We just declutter. What I have been having in my mind that is building up to a resentment, I tell it to him. He also tells me we find a way to trash it out.
And it's a no judgment zone.
Yeah, we try not to judge each other. We just say the way it is.
A number of private organizations don't allow their staff get romantically linked. Collins shares his view about this.
It's a world that is changing from what it used to be, making laws just because you want to make laws, but doing it for the best interest, in the best interest of those involved. So it's a question of, the interest of those involved. I don't think it changes anything. If anything, couples working together has proven, at least in our own case, that it promotes bonding. It also promotes, in fact, I've been a better broadcaster, from the moment she joined me on radio, and even the listener could notice that. I've been a better person, individual, even at work, behaving myself, not doing anything. course, I mean, my family is here. I can't go around investing around. You know, even if I'm that crazy guy, I have to. You know, so the benefits are countless. So if I don't know what the fears are, but I think I want to talk to organizations who have such policies. I think they should review it and you know, give people the chance. I mean, there's nothing wrong for people to be in love and work together.
That's right. I agree with him.
The couple have advice for couples willing to work and build business together.
Once you can